April. Got some teams making proposals. Packers still want to get rid of the brotherly shove. The Lions looking at a new format for seeding in the tournament as well, the playoffs. So a lot of things going on. The NFL is always in play, certainly with the quarterbacking situations, given what's going on with the Giants and the Browns and the Steelers, the Vikings, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Dianna Russini, the Athletic senior NFL insider, co-host of the Athletic Scoop City podcast with Chase Daniel. First of all, you've done a wonderful job. You've done a wonderful job here in the offseason. Not to say you don't do it in the regular season, but did want to have you on to say that. Great work. Now, give us the latest here. Let's start with Aaron Rodgers, because there were conflicting reports yesterday. Were the Vikings interested? Are they still interested in Aaron Rodgers?
Hi. Well, first of all, thank you. Happy spring. We made it, buddy. We're here, despite the fact that it's pouring in our region, but we'll take it, right? As it just felt like a really long winter. And you sound annoyed by the quarterback carousel situation here a little bit. Are you the Steelers? Are you the Giants? Are you talking to them? Because I can tell you that they're pretty annoyed by all this as they're just waiting. And everyone knows the tale at this point that the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants are both very interested in Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers knows what kind of contract that both teams are offering. And the Minnesota Vikings spent, I'd say, probably the last week and a half or so having really serious discussions about what this would mean for this team moving forward if they were to bring Aaron Rodgers on. And you had a lot of people in that building in favor of Rodgers after watching some film of him. And, those guys know a lot about him. They have good relationships with Rodgers. And so there were certainly many people with Minnesota who believed that bringing Aaron Rodgers in this season was the best thing for the Minnesota Vikings. And I think from their perspective, it's, well, you don't get extra points winning a Super Bowl because you won it with your draft pick, because you won it with the young quarterback. They built this team in free agency, and you have to give them so much credit with how they've built this Vikings team. On paper, at this point right now, I think it's really reasonable to say that this is a Super Bowl caliber team. They just need the quarterback. And the fact that the Vikings have now made the decision to table this, to say, okay, we want to give JJ McCarthy an opportunity this spring, tells me that Kevin O'Connell has hitched his wagon to JJ McCarthy and believes that this player is the future of the Minnesota Vikings, that he is the absolute best option over, let's say, a future Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers. So serious discussions happened, but Kevin O'Connell came to the decision that he believes that J.J. McCarthy gives the Vikings a much better chance at winning than Aaron Rodgers does at this point.
Well, okay, this is what I was told yesterday. Kevin, he knows he can mold J.J. McCarthy. He's not molding Aaron Rodgers. And does Aaron Rodgers' style of play fit with what Kevin wants with his offense? And I was told that it's not necessarily a great marriage. It's Aaron Rodgers. And the high that you can get could be a Super Bowl, but that he is showing confidence in J.J. McCarthy, and he wants to make sure that McCarthy doesn't lose. Going through rehab, he wants to make sure he understands, I got rid of Sam Darnold. You're my guy. But I'm doing my due diligence that probably ownership is asking him to do.
Yeah, it's beyond confidence in J.J. McCarthy if he's making this decision. He is hitching his wagon to J.J. McCarthy. As J.J. McCarthy goes, the Minnesota Vikings now go, because they had an opportunity to bring in Aaron Rodgers. And to the point that you're making of, well, he doesn't fit in this style of offense, I think Kevin O'Connell, the coach of the year, has proven that he can make any quarterback fit and find their best qualities to get the most out of him. I think that's Kevin's best trait. He is so adaptable. He is able to figure out pretty quickly what the strengths of these quarterbacks are. And, we've talked on this show so many times about the Rodgers experience in New York. And while I never thought it was the right fit, I always understood what New York was doing. When you think about fit, when you think about personality, when you think about what a player like Aaron Rodgers needs around him at this point in his career, he does need somebody that he really truly respects and can hold him accountable. And in my opinion, I think that's Kevin O'Connell. I think there's probably about 5 coaches in football right now that I would say, yep, that works, right? Like Andy Reid can handle Aaron Rodgers, Mike Vrabel, Mike Tomlin, Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell. Those are 5 off the top of my head that I feel very comfortable saying Aaron Rodgers respects. And I think Rodgers is looking at the situation right now going, I wanted to play for the Rams. That didn't work out. What's the next best? And based on these offseason moves, Minnesota is without a doubt the best option for Aaron Rodgers. And so now you have the Pittsburgh Steelers who don't have a plan past Mason Rudolph, who are just waiting to hear from Aaron Rodgers. And, the Giants would probably love this opportunity. But I think in their building, they know what's happening here. They know that they're probably not the prom queen here in this situation. So to me, the biggest takeaway was the Minnesota Vikings have very strong belief and confidence that JJ McCarthy is the guy. Yet they're still going to discuss Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers is still on their radar. So they need to learn something this spring. I don't know what that is, but they need to see something. And Dan, you've been doing this a long time. What is spring football? Not much, right? Like you don't know too much. It's pretty easy, laid back. But I think they want to see where he's at physically, where he's at mentally. There's a lot in play here before they really make their decision that they're officially done with Aaron Rodgers. Because there's no in or out on Rodgers. It's just for right now.
Dianna Russini, the Athletics senior NFL insider, co-host of the Athletics Scoop City with Chase Daniel. I thought the Steelers were going to bring back Justin Fields. I thought that made sense. Maybe it's a bridge quarterback, but I'm kind of surprised the Steelers aren't acting like the Steelers and saying to Aaron Rodgers, dude, at the end of the business day, you're either in or you're out. We're the Steelers. You want to play? It's a privilege to play for the Steelers and a Hall of Fame coach in Mike Tomlin, T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward. We brought in DK Metcalf. You make up your mind, and then if not, we're moving on. But you allowed Justin Fields to get out of the building. I don't know if you can bring Russ back, but where do the Steelers stand with this whole mess?
Where are they going, Dan? What do you mean? They have no choice. Like you want Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan to call Aaron Rodgers today and say, we're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are you in or you out?
Yes.
If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm going, okay, I'm out. If you don't want to wait for me, because what are your options? Mason Rudolph,
what am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? You're the Steelers. I mean, is money involved in this, or is it just the chance to be with a better team, a chance to play in an NFC North and win a Super Bowl? I mean, is that what this is all? Okay.
Yeah,
but this is Aaron Rodgers.
This is Aaron Rodgers going, okay, the Vikings are telling me right now that they're not in, but they're not taking it off the table. Do I sit here and just be patient and just wait to see if maybe in the spring they realize that maybe JJ McCarthy isn't the guy, or maybe there's a setback physically, or maybe there's another quarterback on a different team that he would want to play for injured? Should I just sit back here right now and wait for a better opportunity? Or do I go to Pittsburgh? And look, you just ripped through some of the guys in this roster. I'm not sure how Aaron feels about Pittsburgh, but I think we could probably all agree if he was blown away by them, this would be done. He wouldn't be watching what the Minnesota Vikings were doing. It seems just like a really far backup plan for Rodgers, if he even wants to do that. And then you have the New York Giants. And I don't even think that they have that much of a push in this in terms of Rodgers wanting to be there, because we know the uphill battle that they have in terms of their roster and everything that they're dealing with their coaching staff. So I think for Rodgers, his mindset's like, I'm in no rush because you all need me. I don't really need you, because if I choose not to play football, I choose not to play football. But I think the Minnesota Vikings are worth waiting out for. And I think he's willing to roll the die there.
What are the Giants doing?
Hoping that Russell Wilson or Joe Flacco decide to come to New York. I think that's going to wind up being one of their backup plans, one or the other. They've been
Are they taking
operating.
a quarterback? You think they're taking Shador Sanders?
I do. I think they've always had the focus has always been to get a quarterback here. I think they've aggressively called up to Tennessee to try to move up. I don't get the sense right now out of Tennessee that they've made a final decision yet. I just know that they've obviously have not made this trade. I think Tennessee winds up going quarterback, and I think the New York Giants do as well. I think the Giants are going to do whatever they can to just try to get up and get a quarterback, and then sort of figure out where to go from there. And what I find just fascinating in all this, and obviously I can't share every conversation I have and all the information we collect, but there have been so many moves made over the past 2, 3 weeks here with all three of these organizations. And we're talking about big teams here: the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Minnesota Vikings, the New York Giants, where I wonder if they're going to reflect on some of these calls and regret them, right? Starting with Minnesota, letting Sam Darnold walk. We want to invest in the young guy, right? So we're going to let the guy that just won 14 games for us leave the building. We have no insurance plan now, right now. Oh, well, maybe we'll get Daniel Jones. Daniel wants to be here. We can win with Daniel. We've got the best quarterback whisperer in football. He can get the most out of DJ. Well, Daniel Jones wants to be the starter without having to deal with a young draft pick that's going to compete for the job that, because he was handpicked by Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, the young guy's going to get the edge, right? Like we see it all the time in sports. Whoever that guy's coach is, they usually get the edge. They're the favorite. So Daniel Jones looks at the situation. He's like, I don't want to be in this mess. I can go into Indy and just win this thing. So this is why when I say Kevin O'Connell is tethered to JJ McCarthy, because it's not just Aaron Rodgers. It's Sam, it's Daniel Jones, and it's a future Hall of Fame quarterback. All three of these quarterbacks, they're willing to say, no, we can win with JJ with this roster. And if they feel good about it, I guess we got to just believe them.
The brotherly shove just it doesn't go away. And it feels like the Packers are like, can you please take this out of the game? We can't stop it, but nobody else can as well. My simple solution is just don't allow somebody to be behind Jalen Hurts and block him from behind. That's all. I still think they would be just as successful running a quarterback sneak with that line and Jalen Hurts. But is there any chance that the NFL, when the owners get together, they're going to say, you know what? None of us can stop it. We want it out of the game, and then we vote on it.
Yeah, I think it's a long shot still. I actually thought I thought there was more teeth to it a year ago. And you saw the report that Green Bay is the one that proposed it because they bring up player safety. There's no information about that out there. That's not really a strong leg to stand on at this point. But even having conversations about this over the last few weeks when it started to bubble up again, I think you always have to look at some of the players involved, and I never got the sense that Roger Goodell was for it. I always felt that he didn't like it because he thought it was an ugly play. He didn't like the optics, the aesthetics. And I know that there are some on the competition committee who feel that way as well. But I think in the end, most around the league, including owners, have the same mindset that you do, and that I think a lot of teams do. It's, let's not punish this team because you can't figure out a way to stop it. Maybe put your efforts into solving that problem before having to change the rule because your team doesn't have that advantage.
Great to talk to you, and we'll be watching. We'll be watching to make sure we find out where Russ is going, where Aaron is going. If you had to bet, though, just guess.
You know insiders hate this stuff. I hate guessing
know.
because Bobby the aggregator out there, it's like headline. Russini says, Rodgers to Seattle, Sam Darnold's getting cut. It's just,
do you want to do just a guess on any of those topics? So like the Giants or the Browns or the Steelers, with the Vikings, with retirement, with whatever one. Just give me one guess. Not a report. Once again, this is not a report by Dianna Russini. This is not a report.
This is a guess. This is a guess. I feel like we have to just emphasize this.
Yes.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Minnesota Viking.
Whoa!
Guess.
You said you're going to the Vikings.
Dianna.
Oh,
That
she
is
said it.
breaking news. Hey, let's get that out. Social media.
right.
We're gonna get some hits.
Rossini reports.
Yes.
Crush that.
Aaron Rodgers will be the Vikings quarterback.
Phone's ringing already.
Thank you, Diana. Diana Russini.
Yeah.
That was a guess. That's all that was. It was a guess. It was not a report.
Not as amused as we were with that joke, but
No, she wasn't.
She was not.
She knew what she was walking into.
Oh, you idiots.
Or at least she thought she did. All of a sudden, we're like, yeah!
Oh, she said it.